Have you noticed it? That subtle shift, maybe it's the way your elderly loved one seems to hesitate before getting out of their chair, or how they struggle a bit more with walking. At first, you might just brush it off, thinking it's part of getting older. But then, the struggle becomes more noticeable, and you start to worry. What if I told you that certain vitamins, yes, the very nutrients we think are supposed to help, could actually be contributing to that weakness in their legs? What if the very things we trust to keep them strong could be doing the opposite? It's tough, isn't it? Watching someone you love, someone who used to be full of life, full of energy, start to lose their strength. It's not just physical weakness, it's emotional too. You want them to be happy, healthy, and active for as long as possible, but it feels like you're helpless. That's why understanding what's really happening to their body is so important. Because this is about more than just getting through the day, it's about giving your loved ones the dignity and comfort they deserve as they age. And when you know the right steps to take, you're not just helping them live longer, you're helping them live better. If you're passionate about elderly care, if you want to make sure your loved ones get the best care possible, go ahead and give this video a like, comment, "I'm here," to let me know you're ready to learn more, and make sure you're subscribed to Seniors Care for more tips that'll help you make the right choices for their health and well-being. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this. Imagine your grandmother, who's always been an active, vibrant woman, someone who loves her daily walks around the neighborhood. But lately, you notice something has changed. She's hesitating before she gets up from her chair, her steps are slower, and when she tries to climb the stairs, she looks like she's in pain. She's not the same lively person she used to be, and it's heartbreaking to watch. What if I told you this could be a sign of something as simple as a vitamin deficiency? That's right, vitamin D, something that most of us take for granted, could be the culprit. And the scary part? You might not even realize it's happening until it's too late. Vitamin D is essential for so many things we often don't think about. It's the vitamin that helps our body absorb calcium, and we all know how important calcium is for maintaining strong bones. But here's the thing, vitamin D doesn't just help our bones, it plays a vital role in muscle health too. Without enough vitamin D, seniors can experience muscle weakness, fatigue, and even pain, especially in their legs. Think about it, the muscles in their legs are what keep them moving. When they weaken, it's harder for them to walk, to climb stairs, and even to get out of bed in the morning. And that's when you start seeing those small, subtle changes. They don't tell you what's really happening, but their body is quietly crying out for help. If you don't address this deficiency, the effects only worsen over time. Here's a misconception I see all the time: people think calcium is the only thing that matters for bone health. They focus all their energy on getting enough milk, or calcium supplements, and think that's enough. But they forget about vitamin D, which is actually the key to calcium absorption. Without vitamin D, your body can't process calcium effectively. So, even if your loved one is getting enough calcium, it's practically useless without vitamin D. And that's where things go wrong. They might be doing everything right by taking their calcium, but without that crucial vitamin D, their body isn't getting the full benefit. It's a dangerous cycle, and many don't realize it until the weakness sets in. So, what can you do about it? First off, encourage your loved ones to get outside and soak up some natural sunlight. Now, I know it's not always easy for seniors to get out, especially if mobility is an issue, but even a little bit of sun exposure can make a huge difference. Just 15 to 20 minutes a day, if possible, is enough for the body to start producing vitamin D naturally. Of course, we know sunlight isn't always available, and some people are unable to get outside often. That's where diet and supplements come in. Vitamin D-rich foods like fatty fish, think salmon and mackerel, egg yolks, and fortified milk can help. If these aren't easily accessible, or if your loved one isn't eating much, a vitamin D supplement might be necessary. Always consult with a healthcare professional to make sure the dosage is right, but this simple step can have a profound impact on their strength and mobility. But vitamin D isn't the only vitamin that could be weakening those legs. There's another one that, when lacking, can lead to serious problems with mobility, especially as we age. Let's talk about that next, another vitamin that could be silently working against your loved one's leg strength. Think about your father for a moment. He used to be so active. Remember how he'd play tennis every weekend, always up for a challenge, always moving with energy and life. But now, something's different. Lately, he's been struggling to stand up after sitting for a while, as if his legs don't quite have the strength they used to. At first, you might just brush it off. Maybe he's just getting older, maybe it's nothing. But then you start noticing that it's happening more often, and you can't help but wonder, what's really going on here? What if it's not just age? What if this is actually related to something like a vitamin deficiency, a simple issue that many people don't even realize is happening? I want to talk about one of the most common culprits behind this kind of weakness, a deficiency in vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is an essential nutrient, and here's why it's so important: it's a powerhouse for nerve health. It plays a huge role in helping your body make red blood cells, and it's critical for the health of your nerves and muscle function. Without enough of it, your loved one might experience muscle weakness in their legs, a feeling of numbness or tingling in their limbs, and even difficulty with balance. And when those things start to happen, it doesn't just affect their mobility. It affects their confidence. The fear of falling, the anxiety over not being able to move as easily, can have a huge emotional impact. But the thing is, vitamin B12 deficiency isn't always obvious. Many people think weakness, fatigue, and feeling off balance are just a part of getting older. But this could be a sign of something that's actually treatable and preventable. There's a huge misconception out there that fatigue and weakness are just a natural part of aging. I hear it all the time. Oh, they're just getting older, it's normal to feel tired and weak. But here's the thing, you don't have to accept that as the only explanation. It's not normal for someone to feel chronically weak, especially if they've always been active. That's the key. These symptoms are often brushed off, but if we look closer, they might be a result of vitamin B12 deficiency. The problem is, people assume it's just the natural course of aging. But the truth is, many seniors can't absorb vitamin B12 as well as they used to. This can happen for a number of reasons. Perhaps their digestive system isn't as effective as it once was, or maybe their diet doesn't include enough vitamin-rich foods. And without enough B12, their body simply doesn't have the resources it needs to keep everything running smoothly. So before you accept these symptoms as just another part of getting older, it's worth checking if B12 could be the missing link. So, what can you do about it? First off, let's talk about what you can add to their diet. Vitamin B12 is found naturally in foods like meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. So if they're eating a balanced diet with these foods, they're probably getting enough. But the reality is, as we age, we often don't absorb vitamins the way we used to. And if your loved one is a picky eater or has dietary restrictions, they might not be getting the B12 they need. If that's the case, supplements could be a good option. But before you start giving them any over-the-counter supplements, it's always a good idea to consult with a doctor. They can do a simple blood test to check if there's a deficiency, and they can recommend the right dosage. Sometimes, all it takes is a small adjustment to their diet or adding a supplement to help them regain that strength and mobility. We've talked about the two vitamins that could be weakening your loved one's legs, but it's not just about what they're missing, it's also about what they're consuming. It's not just the vitamins that are lacking, some foods can actually make things worse for their health. Let's dive into the foods to avoid so we can keep them moving and feeling strong. You might have noticed your loved one snacking a lot more these days. Those processed chips, salty crackers, or maybe they're always reaching for that jar of pickles or those pre-packaged meats. They might even say, "Oh, just a little won't hurt, it's fine." But what if I told you that these seemingly harmless snacks could actually be making their leg weakness worse? It's easy to overlook the effects of something like salt, especially when it's so easy to grab quick processed foods, but the truth is, excessive salt is a silent troublemaker. And when it comes to our seniors, it can have a major impact on their health, particularly their mobility. Here's why salt is a big deal: too much salt can lead to high blood pressure. And that's where the real problems start. When blood pressure goes up, it can negatively affect circulation, making it harder for blood to flow properly to the muscles, including those important leg muscles. Poor circulation means less oxygen and fewer nutrients are reaching the muscles, which weakens them over time. That's when your loved one might start feeling the effects: their legs become weaker, they tire more easily, and those little movements that used to come naturally suddenly feel like a huge effort. And that's the last thing we want to see happen. Now, here's the thing: it's easy to assume that a little bit of salt won't make a difference. After all, we all add salt to our food, right? But when it's in processed foods, those meals that come in a can, or packaged snacks that we pick up for convenience, it adds up quickly. Many families don't realize just how much sodium is hidden in processed foods. A small amount here and there might seem harmless, but over time, it can seriously affect health, especially in older adults. And the effects of high salt intake are gradual. You may not see it immediately, but over months or years, it can lead to serious health complications like heart disease, kidney problems, and that ongoing leg weakness that can really disrupt a senior's quality of life. So what can you do? First, try to encourage a diet that's rich in fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole foods. These are naturally low in salt and provide the nutrients that will help support healthy circulation. You can also start replacing those processed snacks with homemade options. For example, try making your own baked vegetable chips or roasting some nuts for a healthy snack alternative. Not only will it be lower in sodium, but it'll be packed with vitamins and minerals that your loved one's body can use to strengthen those muscles. And don't forget about the importance of hydration. Encourage plenty of water and herbal teas, which can help flush out excess sodium and support healthy blood pressure. Now that we've tackled the issue of salt and processed foods, let's move on to another food group that can be sneaky when it comes to weakening leg strength. You might have noticed your loved one's sweet tooth, a love for sugary snacks, or maybe those processed pastries that seem to be around all the time. Well, it turns out that sugar and refined carbs can also be playing a major role in their muscle weakness. Let's break that down. Imagine your loved one grabbing a sugary snack, maybe a candy bar or some cookies after a meal. They might say, "I just need a little something sweet." But what they might not realize is that this quick sugar fix could actually be doing more harm than good. You see, the thing about sugar is that it's not just bad for their teeth. It can have serious consequences for their muscle health and overall mobility. Over time, consuming too much sugar can lead to a lot of inflammation in the body, and inflammation isn't something you want when you're trying to keep those muscles strong. Excess sugar and refined carbohydrates are linked to increased inflammation in the body. This chronic inflammation affects the muscles and joints, leading to weakness over time. It can also contribute to joint pain and stiffness, making it harder for your loved one to move around, stand up, or walk without discomfort. When the body is flooded with sugar, it can cause the muscles to become fatigued more quickly, and this can have a serious impact on their overall strength. Plus, sugar can spike insulin levels, which not only affects energy levels but also interferes with muscle recovery and growth. So that sugary snack, while it may give them a quick burst of energy, could ultimately leave them feeling more drained in the long run. The problem is, many families don't realize just how damaging sugar can be, not just for the waistline, but for muscle health as well. It's easy to dismiss it as just a sweet treat or a harmless indulgence. But sugar and refined carbs aren't just empty calories, they can really affect how your loved one's body functions. The misconception is that sugar doesn't have a significant impact on their muscle strength, but in reality, it's one of the leading contributors to muscle weakness and joint pain. The constant intake of processed sugary snacks is like feeding the body fuel that only creates more inflammation, which ends up slowing them down even more. So, how can we help them curb their sweet cravings without compromising their health? Try offering natural sweeteners like fresh fruit instead of sugary snacks. Fruit is packed with fiber, vitamins, and natural sugars that will keep their energy levels steady and provide more nutritional benefits. Whole grains are another great option, replacing refined carbs like white bread and pasta with whole grains such as oats, quinoa, and brown rice can help stabilize blood sugar levels and provide lasting energy. The goal here is to nourish the body with wholesome foods that promote healthy muscle function and reduce inflammation. It might take some time for your loved one to adjust, but over time, they'll start feeling the benefits. We've covered two major food groups that can contribute to muscle weakness, salt and sugar, but there's one more aspect to consider when it comes to your loved one's leg strength. It's not just about what's harmful, it's also about what's missing in their diet. Let's take a look at some of the nutrients they might not be getting enough of and how you can fill in those gaps to keep them strong and mobile. Watching a loved one struggle with their mobility is truly heartbreaking. We've all been there. Whether it's your mother, father, or grandparent, seeing them struggle to get out of a chair, shuffle across the room, or even stand up can tug at your heart in ways words can't fully express. It's hard not to feel helpless when you see them in pain or unable to do the things they once loved. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. By understanding what's weakening their legs, you gain insight into what's really going on in their body, and that knowledge empowers you to give them the care and support they need to stay strong, to move better, and to feel better. And the best part? You can make a difference, every little change can help. Instead of feeling overwhelmed or even fearful about what might be happening to them, think about this. Knowing about vitamin deficiencies and the harmful foods that contribute to leg weakness is like unlocking a whole new level of care for them. You're no longer in the dark. You now have the power to make changes that can improve their quality of life in a way that feels achievable and positive. It's not about waiting for things to get worse. It's about being proactive, understanding the signs, and taking action. And that's a comforting thought, isn't it? Knowing that something as simple as adjusting their diet, encouraging a little more sunshine, or making sure they get the right vitamins can make all the difference. This knowledge doesn't just give you a sense of control, it can also reduce the stress of uncertainty and bring a sense of relief. You're no longer reacting to their health issues. You're anticipating them and acting ahead of time. So here's what I want you to do, take a moment today to check in with your loved one. Sit down with them, have a conversation, and see if there are any signs you've missed. If they're feeling weaker than usual, if they're struggling to stand or walk, don't just brush it off as part of aging. Encourage them to get their vitamin levels checked, and don't hesitate to talk to a healthcare professional about possible supplements. It might feel like a small step, but it's one of the most important things you can do for their health. And remember, it's never too late to make these changes. Even small adjustments to their diet and lifestyle can lead to big improvements. So don't wait for things to worsen, take action now. Whether it's adding more vitamin-rich foods, encouraging some light physical activity, or simply reducing the salt in their meals, you have the power to help them feel better, move better, and live better. I know that caring for a senior loved one can be challenging. There are days when it feels like a constant uphill battle. But here's the reassuring part, the right support and knowledge can make all the difference. You're doing the best thing by learning about the issues that affect them and taking proactive steps. With your love, care, and the right information, you can ensure their well-being for years to come. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Small, consistent changes will add up over time. And your presence, your encouragement, and your compassion will always be the foundation they need to stay strong. So, keep being proactive, keep educating yourself, and keep showing up for them. You're not alone in this, and you are making a bigger impact than you realize. Your love and care matter more than anything, and that is the key to their well-being. Watching a loved one struggle with their mobility is truly heartbreaking. We've all been there. Whether it's your mother, father, or grandparent, seeing them struggle to get out of a chair, shuffle across the room, or even stand up can tug at your heart in ways words can't fully express. It's hard not to feel helpless when you see them in pain or unable to do the things they once loved. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. By understanding what's weakening their legs, you gain insight into what's really going on in their body, and that knowledge empowers you to give them the care and support they need to stay strong, to move better, and to feel better. And the best part? You can make a difference, every little change can help. Instead of feeling overwhelmed or even fearful about what might be happening to them, think about this. Knowing about vitamin deficiencies and the harmful foods that contribute to leg weakness is like unlocking a whole new level of care for them. You're no longer in the dark. You now have the power to make changes that can improve their quality of life in a way that feels achievable and positive. It's not about waiting for things to get worse, it's about being proactive, understanding the signs, and taking action. And that's a comforting thought, isn't it? Knowing that something as simple as adjusting their diet, encouraging a little more sunshine, or making sure they get the right vitamins can make all the difference. This knowledge doesn't just give you a sense of control, it can also reduce the stress of uncertainty and bring a sense of relief. You're no longer reacting to their health issues, you're anticipating them and acting ahead of time. So here's what I want you to do, take a moment today to check in with your loved one. Sit down with them, have a conversation, and see if there are any signs you've missed. If they're feeling weaker than usual, if they're struggling to stand or walk, don't just brush it off as part of aging. Encourage them to get their vitamin levels checked, and don't hesitate to talk to a healthcare professional about possible supplements. It might feel like a small step, but it's one of the most important things you can do for their health. And remember, it's never too late to make these changes. Even small adjustments to their diet and lifestyle can lead to big improvements. So don't wait for things to worsen, take action now. Whether it's adding more vitamin-rich foods, encouraging some light physical activity, or simply reducing the salt in their meals, you have the power to help them feel better, move better, and live better. I know that caring for a senior loved one can be challenging. There are days when it feels like a constant uphill battle. But here's the reassuring part, the right support and knowledge can make all the difference. You're doing the best thing by learning about the issues that affect them and taking proactive steps. With your love, care, and the right information, you can ensure their well-being for years to come. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once, small, consistent changes will add up over time. And your presence, your encouragement, and your compassion will always be the foundation they need to stay strong. So, keep being proactive, keep educating yourself, and keep showing up for them. You're not alone in this, and you are making a bigger impact than you realize. Your love and care matter more than anything, and that is the key to their well-being. Today, we've covered some crucial information about your loved one's health. Specifically, how vitamin D and B12 deficiencies can weaken their legs as they get older. We also discussed the harmful effects of excessive salt and sugar in their diet, foods that you'll want to avoid to keep their muscles strong and their mobility intact. These are simple yet powerful steps you can take to make a real difference in the lives of the people you care about. So, as you go about your day, take a moment to think about your loved ones. Are they showing any signs of vitamin deficiencies or muscle weakness? Are their diets loaded with salt or sugary snacks? Keep an eye out for these signs, because the earlier you notice them, the better you can take action. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these vitamins or foods have you noticed affecting your loved one? Maybe you've seen a decline in mobility, or perhaps there's been a sudden shift in their eating habits. Share your thoughts, experiences, and any advice you might have. It's so important that we all learn from each other in this community. We're all in this together, and sometimes, just reading someone else's story can spark a helpful idea or solution. So go ahead, drop a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. If you found this video helpful, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to Seniors Care. Here, we're all about supporting you as you take the best care of your loved ones. We dive deep into elderly care, health awareness, and practical solutions to help you navigate this important phase of life. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, it helps our channel grow and lets us know we're doing something right for you. We'll keep bringing you valuable content so you can feel confident and informed as you care for the elderly in your life. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Stay strong, stay informed, and keep making a difference in your loved ones' lives. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue to dive into ways to improve the health and well-being of the seniors in your life. Take care, and keep doing the incredible work you're doing. Until next time.